Yeah, DoorDash keeps doing this to Dashers, a trend over a couple of years now. I'm going to show you the warning signs to look out for in this video. But they just finished their Q3 2023 earnings call. And let me show you what they said about Dasher earnings. In their investor letter, quote, "When we execute well, we are able to consistently improve the experiences we provide, which delights more consumers, generates more sales for our merchant partners, and more earnings for Dashers. And we believe it makes our business more durable." Now, I listened to the complete 48-minute earnings call, and there really wasn't a lot of talk about Dashers, unfortunately, per usual here, but let me show you what DoorDash has been doing over the years, and this is a continued trend and possibly a warning sign for you. First, some context. So this time last year, the Q3 2022 earnings call, and here in the letter to investors, DoorDash said their adjusted EBITDA benefited from leverage on Dasher costs, as total Dasher costs per order declined quarter over quarter and year over year, which helped drive improvements to net revenue margin and sales and marketing expense as a total percentage of marketplace GOV. But again, they benefited from leverage, which means a better margin, in essence, lowered Dasher costs. And we see their definition of total, and that's important there. The word total Dasher costs include Dasher acquisition costs, Dasher pay, and the cost of Dasher benefits. So the company directly said this time last year they had already decreased total Dasher cost quarter over quarter and year over year in 2022. Let's fast forward. Now here last quarter of 2023, so the call from Q2 2023. Now in their filings, DoorDash says, quote, "Dasher acquisition costs declined on both a year over year and quarter over quarter basis in Q2 of 2023. Dasher acquisition costs were lower than we expected in Q2 2023, and we do not expect the same level of acquisition efficiency in the second half of 2023, while we're in now the second half of 2023, Q3 and Q4. So last quarter, this was actually Q2 technically, they said they don't expect to have the leanness, the efficiencies in essence, for these lowered Dasher costs. And of course, just to clarify, just so you know, the company wants lower total costs, acquisition costs, total Dasher pay, and then you as a Dasher probably want more of all of that. So if you're a new Dasher signing up, you want some kind of bonus, some kind of incentive, maybe just better pay in general. And if you're a tenured or already a Dasher, you just want higher pay. Note here, Q2 2023, they're not citing total Dasher costs, which equal acquisition costs, benefits, and total Dasher pay. They're highlighting acquisition costs, but those also yet again declined. So now in this most recent Q3 2023 earnings call, DoorDash said Dasher acquisition costs declined on both a year over year and quarter over quarter basis in Q3 2023. So continually from Q3 2022, Dasher costs had already gone down year over year, and then Q2 Dasher acquisition costs went down. And again, here in Q3, Dasher acquisition costs went down. So the real thing to watch out for, I would say, especially if you're thinking about signing up for DoorDash, as acquisition costs really read to me, let me know if you read this some other way down below in the comments, but incentives, guaranteed pay, whatever, for acquiring new Dashers in essence. I mean, acquisition costs, that might also mean what? Advertising pay to try to entice, advertise, like, hey, sign up for DoorDash as well. But in the web call with DoorDash's CEO, Tony Xu, there's other warning signs you might want to look out for. Number one, I've been telling you this for what? The past couple of quarters, if not at least a year and a half, 2 years here. I've been seeing this, and companies like DoorDash and Uber have been talking about this for what? At least a couple of years now. That is the new verticals giving you as a Dasher different order types that are not just restaurant delivery. Tony mentioned now they have 100,000 stores on platforms outside of just restaurants, and continually throughout this call, CFO Ravi Unnakonda and Tony Xu mentioned this new vertical. When pressed on 2024 for new investment opportunities, where's the business opportunities next year? Tony mentioned, again, being an omni-channel business, they are certainly no longer doing just restaurant verticals. Tony continued saying that really, when they first started and years ago, they were really just a one kind of business category company. And now he said they currently really have 5 businesses as core businesses. And further evidence of this omni-channel business, that's really the term we've been hearing across the last couple of quarters here, certainly no longer just restaurants, that there's evidence of cross-platform shopping from customers. So they're getting an offer, let's say on food delivery, and they're cross-selling other opportunities. Hey, add to your cart on, let's say, a different vertical. And Uber does the same thing with cross-selling, with rideshare to Uber Eats. They'll say, hey, you want to ride now? Here's a discount for Uber Eats, or you could order now and it'll basically be there by the time you arrive to your destination. And interestingly, the last question of the webcast was talking about those lowered Dasher acquisition costs. Now, that question was answered by CFO Ravi Unnakonda, and he said that Dasher engagement and retention are increasing. So let me give you a verdict and kind of next steps for you if you're a current Dasher, if you've been a long time Dasher, or if you're someone that's considering signing up for DoorDash. I feel like in part, some of this is high level with their finances. And on the micro, which means what? Your state, your market, and then ultimately you. How much money are you making? I feel like it's going to take a little bit longer, kind of a lagging indicator to actually feel it in your earnings, which is a good thing. Now, to judge that, we have several tools. We have an earnings tracking spreadsheet. Number 1, at yourdrivermight.com, you can look at trend analysis. Number 2, look at the peak pay, and that's actually part of that total Dasher costs. See if they're offering more over the months here. Are you seeing it decrease? Is it maintaining? Is it changing? Because interestingly, for the first time here in Pittsburgh, I saw delivery streaks instead of just flat peak pay. I do not think your order volume is going to change. Order volume, as far as, how many customers are placing orders, I think if anything, that's going to maintain or increase in Q4 into Q1 of 2024. Customers are using and they like DoorDash continually over the past, I'd say 2 years. DoorDash is continuing to show growth of their Dash Pass subscription program. So just gauge that when you're out driving. Look at the trend analysis, and to be frank, how long do you plan on dashing as well? Because DoorDash stated 80% of Dashers have a full-time job. The average is 3 to 4 hours dashing a week. Let me know if that makes sense for you as well. And frankly, after listening to all the quarterly calls that I've listened to over the years, this isn't necessarily surprising. I don't think it's a massive red flag. It's just, as always, something to make note of and to compare it with what you're actually seeing in your market.